Okay, so let's really try and paint a picture here. Imagine the Toronto International Film Festival, TIFF.
Right.
You've got that electric energy, crowds everywhere, right? And the flash bulbs, just relentless, popping constantly on this packed red carpet.
Yeah, it's intense. Everyone's trying to get a look, get a quote.
Exactly. And then through all that comes Sydney Sweeney. She has this real presence, very focused. You can sort of feel the anticipation around her. Every reporter is leaning in and, mic out, ready with a question. But then this moment happens. A reporter asks, maybe thinking it's just a light question, about jeans. One word.
The jeans.
Yeah. And like that, the whole vibe just shifts. Sweeney's face, which was like ready for the cameras, it tightens.
Yeah.
Just subtly.
You can see it.
You can absolutely see it. Her eyes narrow a bit, her posture changes slightly. And then, with just a few very deliberate words, she completely shuts that question down. She is not there to talk about jeans. And the air gets thick, like really thick with this unspoken tension. It's kind of a freeze frame moment.
Yeah.
Why? Why would that one word cause such a strong reaction? What's the story there?
Well, and that's what's so interesting, right? Because that moment, it wasn't just like a celebrity being difficult.
Yeah.
It felt like a real, very public declaration.
Okay.
It really highlights this clash of priorities that, a lot of artists deal with. So we're going to really unpack that, what was on the line for her, the artistry involved, the whole controversy before TIFF, and the power in that single interaction. It's about way more than denim.
Absolutely. So for you listening, our mission here is to cut through all that noise.
Yeah.
The ad campaign that went viral, the pretty intense online reaction, the whole brand spectacle, and contrast that directly with her actual work, her dedication, her ambition as an actress. We want to understand what was really at stake for her then, and what it means to kind of choose your spotlight, to direct the attention.
And zooming out just a bit, that red carpet moment, it was really the end point of a much bigger and, frankly, quite serious online debate. The ad campaign she modeled for, it had this tagline, and it caused huge outrage. People accused it of, echoing eugenics, of having really dangerous undertones. It blew up.
Right, I remember seeing headlines.
Yeah, it became a whole culture war thing. So we'll explore both sides. The criticism, which was intense, and also, interestingly, how commercially successful it still was. And maybe most importantly, her very specific, very personal reason for just refusing to engage with any of it there.
Exactly. So maybe you clicked on this deep dive because you heard something about the denim drama, right? Saw the outrage headlines, got curious. But what we think you'll stay for, what we're really getting into today, is this incredible story of transformation. Physical, emotional transformation, sweat, dedication, really immersing herself in a role. It goes so far beyond one ad. So yeah, get ready. We're stepping into the ring with her, metaphorically speaking, to understand that commitment. Let's really zone back into that TIFF moment because the details are quite vivid. You've got Sydney Sweeney looking, strong, purposeful, an image of serious artistry.
Right.
Flashbulbs still going off like crazy, the energy's still high, but there's this tension, the elephant in the room everyone wants to talk about, but she's making it crystal clear she won't. Our source mentioned her lips staying tight, her publicist relaying the message. She's not here to talk about jeans. It wasn't just dodging, it felt like a stand.
And the key distinction, I think, is that it wasn't just being difficult for the sake of it. It seems very intentional, like a redirection.
How so?
Well, she wasn't there primarily as a model for that campaign, right?
Yeah.
She was there to premiere Christy, the biopic about Christy Martin, the boxer.
Okay, right.
That shift from, fabric and fashion to flesh and blood, from endorsing something to embodying a fighter that's everything, it's crucial. She was basically saying, this platform right now is for the art, not the other stuff.
That makes sense. She was absolutely taking control of the narrative.
Exactly.
The media, they were probably trying to use that jeans pun, maybe make light of something serious or just get a clickable quote.
Standard playbook sometimes.
Right. But her answers, every redirection, it all came back to the film. TIFF was for Christy, period. It turned into this subtle but really determined fight for the spotlight's focus, making sure it was on her work.
Which brings us to the why, Why refuse so strongly, especially when that ad debate was, still raging online. It was huge.
So what was the core issue with the ad?
Well, our sources really emphasize this.
Yeah.
The tagline genuinely sparked outrage. The accusation was that it echoed eugenics. Dangerous undertones.
Eugenics.
Yeah. Serious charge. It wasn't just, oh, that's a silly pun. The phrase genetically blessed combined with it's in the genes. Well, Many people heard echoes of selective breeding, predetermined worth, ideas tied to that really dark history.
Okay, I see. So associating with that, especially at a film festival.
Exactly. It would have been a massive misstep, potentially derailing the conversation about her actual artistic achievement in Christy.
And it wasn't just like Twitter noise that disappeared quickly.
Not at all. This controversy had real legs. And here's the fascinating, maybe uncomfortable part. Despite all the backlash, maybe even because of it, the jeans collection reportedly sold out fast. Kith, the brand, their visibility just exploded. Social media engagement went through the roof.
So the classic all publicity is good publicity thing, even with something that serious.
Well, it's complex. Some argue the controversy itself fueled the virality, turned it into this sort of culture war item people felt they had to react to, buy into, or reject. Others think it maybe tapped into deeper anxieties about beauty standards, genetics, making it impossible to ignore. Either way, commercially, huge traction.
That presents a really weird dilemma for someone in her position, doesn't it?
Totally. On one side, this massively successful, super controversial commercial thing that kind of fed on the outrage. On the other, the artist standing there at a prestigious festival, refusing to even breathe its name.
So at TIFF, she chose. She deliberately steered everything back to Christy.
Absolutely. And Christy, the film itself, is about a fighter, a survivor, someone who overcame incredible challenges. That story, the weight of her role in it, that's what she felt demanded the spotlight. It was a clear choice. Artistic integrity over acknowledging the commercial noise.
And this is where it really clicks for me, understanding the depth of that choice. When you think about Christy, the film she was there for, her refusal makes so much sense.
Tell me more.
Well, the sources detail this incredible disciplined prep she undertook. We're talking months of brutal physical training. Like 5 hours a day in the gym sometimes.
Wow.
Learning pro boxing, footwork, sparring. This wasn't just acting, it was full immersion. Late nights with nutritionists, tracking macros, gaining significant muscle, like 15 pounds of it, for authenticity.
You can almost picture it, right? Stepping into those gloves, taking the hits, transforming through sheer grit.
Totally. It wasn't a role she just showed up for. It was a complete physical and mental takeover.
And that depth of commitment is really illuminating. The TIFF audience wasn't just seeing an actress. They were maybe sensing subconsciously the effort behind it, the wear and tear of trading punches for truth.
Right.
And beyond the physical, she dove into Christy Martin's whole life. Hours of fight footage, biographies, meeting Martin herself to understand the psychology, the resilience, the off-camera battles.
So those questions about jeans, fashion,
They just seemed utterly trivial in comparison, almost disrespectful to the work she'd clearly done. As one source put it so well, she traded fabric for flesh and denim for grit. That transformation was just profound. It overshadowed everything else.
So what this means for you listening is your focus shifts, right? You stop wondering about a fashion comment. Suddenly you want to know, how did she box for real? What was it like playing Christy Martin, this pioneer? How did she find that fighter spirit? Those are the questions she wanted to answer, the story she invested everything into. Her whole stance at TIFF was this powerful, unspoken defense of her craft.
Precisely. It wasn't just refusal. It was defining the value of her presence right there, right then.
Yeah.
She knew clearly that engaging with the jeans thing would dilute the message about Christy.
Yeah, it would pull focus from the effort, the dedication.
Exactly, the artistic investment. It was really a masterclass in controlling the narrative, making sure the light shone on her art, her work, the story she was there to champion, not some commercial firestorm. It really highlights that tension for public figures today, where everything is potentially monetizable or fodder for controversy.
And it's an incredible story, committing like that. The sources give these glimpses, the physical reshaping, the specific diet changes. It's not just playing pretend.
Yeah.
It's becoming someone else, inhabiting them to a degree most of us can't fathom. Makes you think about the unseen work, the sacrifices actors make. It's about living the role.
And that really brings up a bigger point about celebrity and perception now. In this world where every tweet, every outfit, every endorsement is dissected and amplified, her stance was kind of a radical reminder that some things for an artist are maybe sacred, demanding focus that goes beyond products or trends or controversy.
It wasn't rudeness.
Not at all. It was fiercely protecting the integrity of her work, especially for a role that obviously meant so much. It showed real self-awareness, real control over her own story.
It's almost like she was saying, look, I earned this moment, this specific spotlight, through hard, verifiable work, and I won't let it get sidetracked by something peripheral. The contrast is just so clear, isn't it? On one side, you have the noise, the commercial angle, the online fury of that ad, the whole brand spectacle benefiting from the drama it created.
Right.
And on the other side, this quiet, intense, almost monk-like dedication to the craft, to performance. The controversy was just background noise to her. The film, Christy, her commitment to it, that was the headline she insisted on. So we've kind of come full circle here, really looking at that contrast we set up at the start.
Yeah.
On one hand, the whole clamor and commerce of that ad campaign, the controversy. On the other, this incredibly focused, intense dedication Sydney Sweeney poured into Christy. It's a really striking difference.
It really is.
And what stands out, like our sources showed, is how her just refusing to engage with that one word, jeans, at TIFF, totally shifted the focus.
Absolutely redirected it.
It wasn't just about the film, it was about the essence of her work as an actress. She literally turned distraction into a statement, trading, as we said, fabric for flesh and denim for grit.
And what becomes so clear from this deep dive is just how effectively she managed that narrative shift. From this media-fueled spectacle, the ad, the outrage, the chatter, to a story about deep personal and artistic commitment. Which I think raises a really important question for all of us, in a world that's just so full of noise, constant pings, endless demands on our attention. What stories do we choose to give our focus to? What truly deserves our dedication? And how do we protect that focus from all the surrounding static?
That really hits home, doesn't it? It makes you think. What parts of your own work or your passions are so fundamental, so core to who you are, that you'd guard their spotlight fiercely, no matter what drama swirls around or what other shiny objects try to pull you off course? How do you decide what really matters when everything is competing for your attention, especially when some of those demands are loud or maybe even commercially attractive?
It definitely invites reflection, doesn't it, on the power of just focusing. The depth of commitment required. Because ultimately, that's what makes an audience really lean in, not for the surface stuff, the scandal, but for the genuine story, the transformation, the purpose, the grit underneath it all.